Mark Zuckerberg comes out yesterday and pens a letter to Congress. Let's read the letter first. I want to read the letter. Okay, so bring it on in because that sucker is small. All right, here we go. And this is to Jim Jordan. All right. If you believe Mark Zuckerberg should be held accountable
for
what he did for the election, if he should go to prison, I'm getting close to that myself. But here we go. Comment yes or no. Chairman Jordan, I appreciate the committee's interest in content moderation on online platforms. As you are aware, Meta has produced thousands of documents as part of your investigation and made a dozen employees available for transcribed interviews. Further to our cooperation with your investigation, I welcome the opportunity to share what I've taken away from this process. Calm down, Graham. All right. There's a lot of talk right now about how the U.S. government interacts with companies like Meta, and I want to be clear about our position. Our platforms are for everyone. We're about...
Woosah.
Our platforms are for everyone. We're about promoting speech and helping people connect in a safe and secure way. As part of this, we regularly hear from governments around the world and others with various concerns about public discourse and public safety. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, so that would include Kamala Harris too, by the way, pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take content down, and we own our decision, including COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of this pressure. I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. Could that be those of us who said hydroxychloroquine works? Ivermectin works?
Rogan.
Could it be those of us that said that they're lying to you and that these vaccines aren't what they say to be? How many people, Mark Zuckerberg, are you responsible for? How many deaths are you responsible for? Because you wouldn't allow real information to be put out. How many deaths are on your hands, Mark? And when are you going to be held accountable for it? I had so many people when I said, don't take the shot. Now cancer's up 300% with people under the age of 40. I wonder why. I had so many people tell me when I said, go take hydroxychloroquine, go take ivermectin. Remember the horse medication? Remember that? I had so many friends disown me because they told me that I was going to be responsible for the deaths of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. How about that? But it was you, Mark. You did it. How many people are dead because of you? How many people are going to get cancer now because of you? How many respected doctors, like, I don't know, Robert Malone? How many people are going to die because of you in the future? How many businesses did you end because you cut us all off of social media for trying to speak the truth? How many businesses, how many people did I have to let go from my own organization because you cut our monetization off simply because we were trying to tell the truth? Who's going to hold you accountable, Mark? Who? You come out almost 5 years later and it's like, oh, our bad. What? You think a freaking pen to paper, and it's not even pen to paper. You think a freaking letter is going to make you okay? You think it's going to be all right? Do you have any idea what you did to so many people? Do you have any idea how many people you probably single-handedly had the ultimate decision of their death because you withheld information that could have saved their lives? And how many people, Mark, are going to die in the future because you pushed vaccines that we now know were not safe? How many people are bankrupt to this day, lost everything because you killed their business on your platform? Mm-hmm. How many, Mark? How many people? This isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. It's not good enough. And this is personal for me because I fought you for years over this. It is a miracle that we are still here today. And it's only because of the Lord above that we are still here. Because you tried to kill us. You tried to kill our business. You tried to kill our ability to speak. And now we find out it wasn't even a personal conviction of yours, that you were just wrong. I could respect that. No, you admit that the Biden administration, and especially the White House, forced you to do it. They forced you to censor the free speech of Americans. It's not good enough. If I find out about a lawsuit from this, I'm telling you right now, Dear America Incorporated, Graham Allen Media Incorporated, we will sign on to any lawsuit against you.
But do you think something's actually going to happen to Zuck? Because he was pushing stuff that the government was telling him to push. So do you think the government's going to protect him?
Like, if that don't open the door, if that doesn't open the door for massive litigation, I don't know what is. Like, if somebody can sue Red Bull for $7 million because it didn't give them wings, and
somebody got $10 million from McDonald's because they got chicken nuggets that were too hot and their baby dropped them in their lap and got burned. Yeah. And McDonald's had to pay $10 million. What the crap should Mark Zuckerberg have to do?
He should lose everything.
Well, I think the only way something happens to Mark Zuckerberg, is if we do something, because the government's not going to take care of it.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know that it seems like forever ago that COVID happened, but those of us who fought that entire time, and I'm not downgrading anyone, okay? I know you had to go to work. I know you had to do what you had to do, but some of us were fighting them the entire time, every single day. For them just now to say, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't have let them do that. And oh yeah, those of you who got called conspiracy theorists and we shut your pages down and we killed your businesses and you had to let employees go because you couldn't pay your bills and all the above. Oh, you actually were right. The government did actually pressure us to do that. I just sit here and I just think to myself, like you've got to be kidding me. And then to think the utter gall of it. Here's another thing. Go to Elon Musk. Go to Elon Musk. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg you to at Elon as much as possible. Elon Musk said this sounds like a First Amendment violation. Elon, you have the ability to go after Mark Zuckerberg. You have the ability to help us. I can't. There's nothing I can do to go after Mark Zuckerberg. Now, I can sign on to lawsuits, but someone much bigger than me has to do it. Elon Musk, I'm begging you to consider helping those of us to go after Mark Zuckerberg. And on top of that, forget the money, forget the businesses, forget all that stuff. You can survive that. People are still alive that lost their businesses. Not right. And they should be paid damages for it. But what about the people that lost their lives because Facebook only allowed what Dr. Fauci said they should do to be spoken? How many people died because of Mark Zuckerberg and Meta's decision? How many people are going to have cancer in the future because of Meta's, what we now know is disinformation about the efficacy of the shot? Who's going to hold you accountable? Elon Musk, I beg you to please consider taking this up. I beg you. People on Facebook, there's people on Facebook watching right now. Share this far and wide. We cannot just let Mark Zuckerberg pin a letter to Congress saying, you're right, I was wrong. The White House did, in fact, even though I denied it for years.
That's not good enough.
Oh, the White House did, in fact, do it. And in hindsight, I should have done a better job. I'm really sorry. What?
That's not good enough.
Yeah. What?
Sorry.
Please. And somebody consider helping us.
Exactly. Because they're still doing it. Like, you write a letter to Congress saying that the government is telling you to censor people. You're still doing it, you turd. Yep. I'm still getting a strike for this photo. To this day. I still get popped for this photo.
I still have a fact check on Instagram right now where I said, did Kamala Harris say reduce the population? And it's a video of her saying reduce the population. And then because a White House spokesperson said, well, yes, she did say it, but she misspoke. She meant reduce pollution. I have a fact check right now saying that I am giving false information because she didn't say that. But she did say it. It's right there. Oh, well, the spokesperson said she misspoke. Okay, well, she misspoke, but that doesn't change the fact that she said that. It's still happening. You're still doing it. We're still fighting it every single day. We got to move on. But ladies and gentlemen, I beg you to hit the like button and hit the share button because we cannot let Mark Zuckerberg type a letter and just exonerate himself of any wrongdoing of what he helped the government do to us for years. We can't let them. We can't let him. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So it's hard to even finish it. I also think we made some choices that benefit of hindsight, new information we wouldn't make again. Like I said to our teams at the time, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either directions, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again. Okay. In a separate situation, the FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election. That fall, we saw a New York Post story reporting on corruption allegations involving then Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's family. We sent that story to fact checkers for review and temporarily demoted it while waiting for a reply. It's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story. We've changed our policies to make sure this doesn't happen again. For instance, we no longer temporarily demote things in the U.S. while waiting for fact checkers. Mark, you changed the entire election, Mark Zuckerberg. 37% of Biden voters said that if they had known about the laptop, they would not have voted for Joe Biden. So even if you believe the election was above board, Mark Zuckerberg and Jack from Twitter, you, two men, rigged the 2020 election. You just admitted to it. You just admitted that you helped rig and influence the election by withholding real information. Apart from content moderation, I want to address the contributions I made during the last presidential cycle to support electoral infrastructure. The idea here was to make sure local election jurisdictions across the country had the resources they needed to help people vote safely during a global pandemic. I made these contributions through the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. They were designed to be nonpartisan, spread across urban, rural, and suburban communities. Still, despite the analysis I've seen showing otherwise, I know that some people believe this work benefited one party over the other. You wouldn't be writing this note if that wasn't true. My goal is to be neutral and not play a role one way or another, or even to appear to be playing a role. So I don't plan on making similar contributions this cycle. Respectfully, Mark Zuckerberg.
Question.
I'm sick, dude. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I'm literally sick. Go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
My question is, you just said something very, very powerful, Graham, that two people influenced the result of the election there with Mark.
And that's Jack. Even if you believe that the election was completely legit.
Yeah. Yes. My question is, how do we keep something like this happening again? I mean, I know there's different platforms out there. There's X now with Elon, and we have Truth Social and whatnot. But the fact that we had two people influence, if that's true, the outcome of an election, that's a very dangerous for everybody else, all the citizens in the United States that went out and voted and they thought they were making a difference. But the fact that just even, I mean, think about Google, Facebook, all of them, they can all influence what information comes out and how to tell people what to think. How do we combat that?
You don't. No. You can't, because, I mean, you think about it like this. This is where we are today.
They're too powerful.
No, this is where we are. In the 70s, the exact same thing happened. Okay. And a president got impeached and had to resign. He bugged political opponents' offices. They did that to Trump. He faked political investigations. They're doing that to Trump. And they used political means to change information. It was called Watergate. And Nixon had to step down because of it. You're not going to stop this kind of stuff, because now it's going unpunished. The second, as a country, we stand up and these actual politicians do what we elected them to do and start punishing these people for doing these things, then people will go, oh, maybe this is not a good idea to do anymore.
Yeah, but Todd, how do we do that if we start punishing them? Because as you saw with Bongino a little bit ago, the Secret Service, they allowed their head person to step down and not get fired, and the next person up is the same as she was. So even if you get rid of Zuck, the person that's behind him, they're just going to have the same.
The only way is to be able to have the public square the open forum. That's Period. It. The ability to have dissenting ideas, not counter ideas, dissenting ideas. And I see a lot of people in the chat, and I just want to be Graham for a minute. Not, hey, the character. I want to be Graham for a minute. I see everybody, oh, Graham needs a hug. Graham, somebody get Graham a Snickers or something like that. Hey, whatever. It's jokes. Everybody's being funny. I want to tell you though why this matters to me, because we fought this every day for years. You don't know. Well, some of you do. A lot of you don't know what it's like to have to look your wife in the eye and say, I know that this is potentially bankrupting us, but I can't not tell the truth. And all I had to do was just not talk about that. I could talk about anything else I wanted, but just not that. And to look my children in the eye and like, look, I know it's tough. I know it's hard. I know this. And then to look at people that I had to let go and to explain to them, I'm sorry that I have to let you go. And I'm sorry that you have to figure out how to pay for food for your family because of the decision that I made to continue to talk about the one thing that we weren't allowed to talk about. That was my decision. Nobody else gets to make that decision here. That's me. And to see him write this letter to confirm that I and so many others were right about everything. We were right about all of it. I would equate it to a detective that knows that he knows that he knows that that person did it. For years knows. And then 4 years later, the person writes a letter going, yep, I did it. And nothing happens. They just get away with it because, oh, well, at least he admitted it. You see Patrick Bet-David do a tweet, and I like Patrick Bet-David, I do, but I couldn't disagree with his tweet that he put out anymore. If we can pull that up real quick, the tweet here, he says, this is his takeaway. He admitted this for one of these reasons. One, he's being honorable. There's no honor in this man.
None.
He's not being honorable. Two, he's done with the Dem party. I don't think Mark Zuckerberg was ever for a particular party. I think he was who the highest bidder was. You don't think that the government gave Mark Zuckerberg a kickback for helping out in some way, shape, form, or fashion? Three, he's getting ahead of a whistleblower.
Probably.
A whistleblower saying what? That they actually did the things that we know that they did? They've already had whistleblowers. We've known for so long. So to those of you in the chat, and I know you're joking, I get it. I don't need a hug. I don't need a Snickers. This is a big years. And you have to look people in the eye and tell them that you have to let them go because you can't afford them and that they can't feed their family during the middle of the pandemic. Because I was so unwilling not to talk about the one thing that they said we weren't allowed to talk about. You have no idea how that feels. 99% of you have no idea what that is to live with that. And we still have not recovered financially, by the way, to what we were in 2020, 2021 when all this crap went down. And it is a miracle that we're here today. And so, yeah, it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to me. It hurts. It's real. And what hurts the most is that nothing's going to happen to this guy. Nothing.